UMD's college theater program took home some prestigious honors recently. The department's production of An Enemy of the People was among just a handful of college plays to receive a Kennedy Center Award, and its director was also honored. Almanac North producer Greg Grell talked with UMD theater professor Tom Isbell about the Kennedy Center Awards.
Nationwide organization. I think it was founded in 1969, the American College Theater Festival, and UMD has been very active in it. And it used to, and there are 8 regions across the country, and it used to be that the top productions from each region were invited to go and perform at the Kennedy Center in Washington, and we've had that honor 5 times. About 10 years ago, they stopped doing that for budgetary reasons. They still invite students to go there for the national festival. And what they do instead is they honor certain productions with distinctions. And that's what we were a part of this year.
So talk a little bit about An Enemy of the People. That's the production that you received a couple of honors for. For folks who aren't familiar, tell us about the play a little bit.
Well, it was written in 1882. It's by Henrik Ibsen, a Norwegian playwright, and it's been around a long time, and obviously 138 years. And a couple years ago, I was reading a story in the New York Times, this is 2017, that there was this huge uptick of productions of this play. And I hadn't read it since college. And I went back, and the play is really about a town and that makes its money off a spa. And the local scientist has discovered that the water coming into the spa is actually toxic. It's being poisoned by the industries upriver. And his brother is the mayor, and he brings this to his brother's attention. And at first, everyone considers him a hero for discovering this. And then they turn on him because they realize they're going to have to shut down the spa for 2 years, and people are going to lose jobs. And the reason, obviously, it's being done so much because of what's happening in the country. You look at Flint, Michigan, for example, an obvious comparison. And it's so timely still. And so we wanted to produce it here, and so that's how we came to do it.
Now, the actual event, the play you produced in January of 2020, which must seem like a lifetime ago during COVID, but talk about how that works and how the judging happens.
We first produced it actually in November in our small theater. The Dudley Theater did 10 shows, and there are regional respondents who go to all these productions in our 7-state region, and then they invite the top 6 or 7 to the regional festival, and that's what we did in January in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is a lifetime ago. And it was a different space. It was a larger space. Instead of 100 seats, it was 250. We still did it in the round, but it was great fun for all of us to kind of remount the show and do it there. And what was really exciting was doing it especially for the students, for 750 of their peers from all these universities around the region. That's what's really one of the special things about this organization, is seeing what other students are doing, other productions, other companies, and for us to share our work. So that was thrilling. And yes, that was a lifetime ago.
Now, this production was one of just 7 across the country. I understand hundreds and hundreds are entered. So how is that? The students have to be excited about it, and it has to also be a bit of a feather in their caps.
It is. There's then, at these regional festivals, there's a national selection team that goes to all of those, and they, I don't know what their criteria are necessarily, but they choose these ones and give them top distinction. And so I think it was really exciting for our whole department. And what was exciting about this production was that all the designers, all the crew, the stage managers, the dramaturgs, and of course all the actors, they're all students. So this was theirs. And so that was indeed a huge feather in their cap.
And you were honored also as a distinguished director of a play by the Kennedy Center. Was that a pretty proud moment for you?
Yeah, it was. That was nice. When we decided to do this play, I went back and I readapted it because the 1882 version, the basic storyline is really timely, but much of the language is creaky and some of the plot points are creaky. So I found a public domain translation and I rewrote it. And then because I was able to do that, I could kind of visualize how I wanted to direct it. And we decided to do it in the round, and that allowed a lot of opportunities. And there's a scene, the 4th act, which is basically a trial. And by doing it in the round, we kind of let us, the audience, be the jurors, kind of asking the question, which side do you fall on here? Because it's not an easy answer, as we try to take care of the environment, but also recognize that there is an economy that we have to pay attention to as well. So I think that kind of solidified in terms for all of us of what the show was about.
Now, you're a professor of acting in the theater department at UMD. You yourself have been an actor for many, many years. I know you had a film career earlier on in your career. How does this kind of rank in your listing of top career accomplishments?
Oh, nothing in my prior life as an actor tops the stuff that happens at UMD. Working with these student actors, student designers, all of them, it's just a mountaintop experience after a mountaintop experience. And I think especially these that get the opportunity to travel to the regional festivals where the shows are seen by peers, that's really special, and we don't take them for granted.
Now, school year is going to be coming back this fall. Of course, we're in an unprecedented time with the COVID pandemic. What is going to happen as far as the theater department? Are the students going to be coming back on campus? You'll be working on productions. How is that going to work this year?
Well, we're still meeting every week this summer trying to come up with those answers. And of course, the data keeps changing. The goal is to bring students back if they feel safe and if we feel safe and have as many face-to-face classes as we can. The goal with the first production, which I happen to be directing, Henry V, is we're hoping to do it outside. And any kind of outdoor venue where we can keep the audience distanced from each other and from the actors, obviously. And that's a play that I can stage in a way that the actors are socially distanced from each other. So we're hopeful we can make that happen. And we'll do it in September as opposed to October when it's not quite as chilly in Duluth. And then beyond that, we're going to be relying a lot on Zoom. And then as we get later in the season, we'll see where we're at.
Well, acting is all about being adaptable, and I guess that's what's going to be happening this fall.
It is. We teach our students yes and we're having to do a lot of that this year.
Well, Tom Isbell, professor at the UMD Theater Department, thanks very much for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.